everybody, and welcome to Storm Reads, and today I am going to talk about my most disappointing books of 2020. And I had a few. It's kind of sad, but yeah. I've noticed out of all the books that I've done, I've had about 6 books for each category. It just kind of happened that way, which is a little strange, but it's how it is. But yeah, each of these I was really hoping to like, and whenever I hated them, it was very disappointing for me. The first one I'm going to talk about is The Magnificent Monsters of Cedar Street by Lauren Oliver. And this sounded like it was going to be a whole lot of fun. It was about a girl whose father went missing, and they take care of monsters. If the monsters get hurt, they take care of them and make them better. And that sounded like it was going to be like super fun. Well, then her father goes missing, and she has to try to figure out what happened. And so she takes a few of her little monsters with her, and a boy that she just met, and they go on this adventure to try to find what happened to the father. And I don't know, I guess maybe I was expecting a little bit more of an adventure story, more of the monsters. Since it's the Magnificent Monsters of Cedar Street, I thought there was going to be a lot more of a monster aspects to it, I guess. And there really wasn't. I mean, there were like the little monsters that she carried with her, and then going and trying to find out what happened to the rest of the monsters. But other than that, it just really wasn't all that great. Now, I've tried other books from Lauren Oliver. I tried her. I think she's the one that wrote The Curiosity House, which was a middle grade, which I didn't like either. And I've tried reading one of her young adult books, and I didn't like it. So I think this is going to be a case where she's just an author that I don't like, and I think I've decided that I'm going to give up and not read anymore from her, because I just don't like them. I really wanted to like this one, and so I was very disappointed when it turned out to be one that I just didn't care for. The next book on my list is Devolution by Max Brooks. And I probably am in the minority on this one too. I know a lot of people enjoyed this book. A lot of people liked his book, World War Z, which I thought I might try, but now I'm not sure if I want to try it after reading this one. It's a book that I thought was going to be a great book about Bigfoot, and it ended up being more about the day-to-day lives of these people that have been cut off by a volcano that erupted. And because of the eruption of the volcano, it sorry if that is so loud. I got my door shut and everything, but man. So I had to get up, so the camera angle might be a little different. I don't know. But anyway, De-Evolution, it's told in like by a journal by somebody who was there, and I can't even remember her name. But she wrote a journal like everything that was happening. It was about a group who moved to this small town that was supposed to be kind of like a green town. Everything was supposed to be very environmentally friendly, and then a volcano happens and they get cut off, and so they're gonna have to survive here until people can get to them. But what they don't know is that there was like this family of Bigfoots that were living in the woods, and the volcano and all the stuff that happens forces them down into their territory, where they end up wreaking havoc and everything. But it was so slow. Everything happened so slow. All the day-to-day, them preparing this and everything. I think the lady made stupid decisions of going out on her own sometimes, and I almost was like, well, why doesn't the Bigfoot just kill her and get it over with, so that I can just be done? But yeah, and then the ending, I didn't care for the ending much either, and it left it like kind of open to where you could decide yourself what happened you know, at the end, the survivors, I guess, or whatever, you can, you know, just kind of make your own decision about what might have happened. But the getting there was so boring, and by the time the Bigfoot action and stuff happened, I no longer cared about anything that was happening. I just wanted the Bigfoot to just kill everybody and be done. And so, yeah, I was disappointed because I was hoping that I was going to get like this really cool creature feature with a Bigfoot, and all I got was a slow documentary journal about day-to-day living being cut off by everybody. So the next book I'm going to talk about is The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. I was really, really, really wanting to like this book, and I can't even remember much about, like, I can't remember the characters or even much about it, what it was about, but the one thing I can remember about is the racist old lady who was just over the top, and I think the author could have got her point across without this person being quite so over the top. It's set in the 1980s, and it's in a small town, and I also kind of get aggravated about small towns being considered very racial and like racist and everything. I live in a town that's like the population of like 2,000, and yeah, there's gonna be some, but yeah, we're not like that. And so sometimes it grates on my nerves a little bit, I guess. But it's about a girl who she has a vision of something happening to some girls, and she wants to try to figure out what happened. And yeah, honestly, that's about all I can remember. I think my favorite character was, I think his name was Alejandro, and then people called him Alex, I think. But he was he was a police officer and part of the Hispanic family that the old lady kept harping about and driving me crazy, and I didn't care about her or anything that she had to say, and it just made me aggravated for most of the book. And this is my third Christina Henry book, and I absolutely loved Lost Boys. Loved it. Peter Pan retelling about through the eyes of Captain Hook character. I loved it. It was dark, it was creepy, Peter Pan was evil, and it was just a lot of fun. Really liked it. Then I tried The Girl in Red, which was supposed to be Red Riding retelling, and I hated it. I did not like it either. It was a romp through the forest, and that's what it felt like. That was the only thing it was doing. I didn't like it. And then we get Ghost Tree, and I don't like it either. So I'm at the point to where I don't know if I want to try another book from this author and see if I will like it, or if I just call it quits and I just like the one book and that's all I'm going to like from this author. I don't know. I don't know. Decisions. She has another book coming out in 2021. It sounds really good, but that's the thing. Her books always sound really good, and then I don't like them, except for the one. I really loved that one. I mean, I gave that one 5 stars. I absolutely loved it, which is why I'm so disappointed that I can't find another one of her books that I enjoy. I really, really want to like Christina Henry. So, I don't know. It's a decision to see if I want to try another book from her or call it quits. I don't know. So, the next book that I have is The Haunting of Gillespie House by Darcy Coates. I really want to like Darcy Coates, and this is the first book that I've read by her, and so now I'm a little bit leery because I know a lot of people like her. There's, I don't know her name, but I think her booktube channel is called Harpies in the Trees or something like that. She really, really loves Darcy Coates. And then I know Becky from the Bookish Bryants really loves Darcy Coates, and so I want to like Darcy Coates, and maybe I started with the wrong one. I don't know. But I think this has more to do with the fact that I didn't like the character in the book than anything, but I mean, I don't remember her name, but she's house sitting for a lady while she went away somewhere, and so she's in somebody else's house, and it was the things that she was doing while she's in the other person's house that really upset me. She's hearing some things and everything. She goes around and she checks, and like almost all the doors are unlocked except for this one room. And yeah, I can understand being curious about it, but it's not her house, and the lady has the right to lock the doors of any rooms that she doesn't want the lady who's house sitting to go into. I mean, that's my thoughts anyway. Yet she decides to break into the room to find out what is in there, and then when she's outside, she breaks into the mausoleum that's there. And you know, I was like, as soon as she did that, I was like, I hope something evil comes out and eats her, because it was really making me mad. And so I think maybe with this one, it was just me not liking the character and her actions that made me not enjoy this. But I also thought it was a really simple story. You know, a really simple haunting story that seemed to have a fairly easy resolution, and it wasn't all that interesting. It was kind of slow in spots, and I just really didn't like it. I was reading that when this other guy was reading another one from her, and he kind of had the same like response that I had to this one, that it was a really simple book. So I'm like, maybe I had too high of expectations for them. I mean, I know they're haunting books, but I like haunting books. That some of them, you know, are a little bit more complex than others, and maybe I just had the bar set too high, because people that I enjoy watching really enjoyed the books and stuff. I am going to try another one. There's a book club that I'm in, and I think they have one of her books picked out for February or March or something, I think. So I'll try her again. If anybody's read Darcy Coates, like, you know, and they have like a particular favorite one, you know, you could maybe put it in the comments, because I do want to try Darcy Coates again. I just think I just picked the wrong one to start out with. And then the next one I have is The Forever House by Tim Wagner. Tim Wagner, he's very strange. I don't know if any of y'all have read his books. This is only my third one from this author, so I don't know. You know, I found out whenever I first got into his first book, he's written a lot of books for a lot of different things, like supernaturals and, I mean, things like that. And he's wrote a lot of books, but I never heard of him. He's like an author that has a ton of books out, but I had never heard of him the first book that I read from him, which I can't remember. I think it's called The Mouth of Darkness or something like that, which had the pink devil in it, which me and my friend will never forget. And we always laugh about that, because he's a very strange author. He writes very strange things. But I always enjoy them enough to give them like about 3 stars, 3.5 stars or whatever. They're just enjoyable. But this one wasn't very enjoyable, so I was really disappointed. The Forever House is about a new family that moves in to like this cul-de-sac, and they're called the Eldridge. They're odd, and their neighbors don't know how strange the newcomers really are. But the Eldridge feed on dark human emotions, the fears. They always seek a tainted place to live. Their latest home is perfect, the site of terrible murder-suicide. The inhuman captors will lure their neighbors into the nightmare house to drain their prey. If the unsuspecting victims want to survive, they will have to learn to work together. But which will prove deadlier in the end, the Eldridges or each other? And so, yeah, it's about this really odd family that kind of reminds me of an even stranger and odder and darker Addams Family. You had the estranged father, mother, a sister, and a brother, and a grandmother, and she was called the grand other, and they were just very, very strange family. And like it says, they feed on everybody's nightmares and fear. And so they end up making them all have these weird nightmares and stuff that draws them into their house to where they can lay prey to them. And yeah, it's not only are they, preying on their fears, but you may not make it out alive. And it was really strange. But at the same time, it was just really bad. There was one character in here that's like a pedophile, and I really hated reading about him because he was so disgusting and gross, and he liked the neighbor's kid, and it was gross. And I mean, it was like part of him didn't like being like that, but then, that's how he was. And his nightmares and things has to do with the little girl, and it was gross. And yeah, there was just things in it that I didn't like. And so yeah, I wanted to like this one, and I just didn't like it. Then the next book that I have to talk about is actually a book for 2021. But I already read it, and so it was a disappointing book for this year, so I decided to go ahead and talk about it. And it's called, let's see, My Best Friend is Extinct by Rebecca Wood Barrett. And this is a recently read book too. And the reason I decided to go ahead and put it on here is because I really, really wanted to enjoy this book. I mean, look at the cover. The cover is so cute. The illustrations inside it were adorable. And I thought it was going to be a really fun middle grade about a boy who finds an extinct animal during a freak snowstorm. And it was going to be like kind of a fun adventure. But what I got was a main character who was very annoying. He's 10 years old. His name was Henry, I think. And most of the time, he acted like he was 5 years old. And it grated on my nerves a lot. I think he was supposed to represent maybe somebody who has attention deficit disorder. I don't know. I don't have kids, and I don't deal with that kind of stuff. And maybe that's why it bugged me more than it might bug somebody else. But I also think this was maybe a middle grade book that doesn't work well for adults, because I know somebody else who reviewed it and they didn't like it either. And so I think it potentially could be fun for middle graders, but I think maybe adults will see a lot of things wrong with it, because first of all, it's a freak snowstorm, and there's like a ton of snow, enough snow that they can make tunnels and snow forts and all them kind of things. And they're outside all the time. It seems like almost all the time during the school, they're outside throwing snowballs, building forts. And Henry's outside all the time, but nobody ever talks about being cold. And Henry, he goes into a tunnel, and even though he knows he's not supposed to, he had something happen to him in a tunnel, and therefore his mom doesn't want him doing any of that stuff. But he does it anyway. And he finds like this injured animal that he's never seen before. It looks to me like a polar bear, but it's supposed to be some kind of extinct short-nosed bear, but it looks like a polar bear. And it's hurt. It's got some scratches on it, and so he decides to bring it home and try to doctor it and everything. And when he's bringing it home, he doesn't have anything to put it on, so he puts it on his coat. So he takes his coat off. So it's snowing outside. It's freezing. He's in like this tunnel, but he takes his coat off to put this bear on it and tugs him home without his coat, but he never mentions ever being cold. And I'm like, it seems like he was unsupervised a lot. And I know it's because I think he comes from a single parent home. I don't know where the father is, but his mother drives a snowplow. And so, you know, I understand, like, you know, there's not a whole lot they can do, but I mean, he's just unsupervised and getting into lots of trouble, and he's supposed to be 10, and you think he would be a tiny bit smarter, but he acted more like he was 5 to me. And that, it just aggravated me, and so I thought I was going to really, really enjoy this cute middle grade book about extinct animal, and all I did was get aggravation out of it, so it was disappointing. Yep. So that's all the books that are on my disappointed reads for the year. And I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you all next video.